99 people say something kind, you barely register it. One person says something cruel, and it's the only thing you remember by the end of the day. You'll go looking for it again tomorrow, half hoping it's gone, already flinching before you've even opened the page. Why does one bad sentence outweigh 99 good ones like it isn't even close? This isn't you being fragile, it isn't proof you care too much about what strangers think. It's a scale your brain has always used, and it was never built to weigh good and bad evenly in the first place. In 2001, psychologists Rozin and Edward Royzman reviewed decades of research across dozens of studies and found the same asymmetry showing up everywhere they looked. They called it negativity bias, and one part of it, negativity dominance, means something specific. When you combine a negative and a positive of roughly equal size, the result doesn't average out. It skews negative. Mathematically, 99 compliments and 1 insult should land somewhere close to overwhelmingly positive. Psychologically, they don't. The 1 insult drags the whole average down far past what simple math would predict. Rozin and Royzman went further, breaking the bias into distinct parts. Negative events don't just weigh more, they also intensify faster as they get closer in time or space, and they get processed with more mental effort, generating richer, more detailed memories than an equivalent positive event ever does. That imbalance isn't just something you notice, it's something your body does automatically, before you've had a chance to think about it. In 1994, psychologists Cacioppo and Gary Berntson proposed what they called the evaluative space model, built not on what people said they felt, but on what their bodies actually did in the moment. They measured skin conductance, heart rate, and facial muscle activity while showing people matched positive and negative images of equal intensity. 2 separate patterns showed up. At low intensity, most people carry something called a positivity offset, a mild built-in lean toward reading a neutral, uneventful moment as slightly good rather than slightly bad. Which is why an ordinary day usually doesn't feel like a threat by default. But raise the intensity even slightly, and a second pattern takes over, the negativity bias, where the body's physical response to a bad input consistently outpaces its response to an equally strong good input. Not most of the time. Every time they measured it. Which means the imbalance isn't a mood you're choosing, or a habit you could think your way out of. It's already finished happening in your nervous system before the feeling even reaches conscious awareness. Back in 2001, the same year as the Rozin and Royzman review, a separate team led by psychologist Baumeister pulled together an enormous review spanning emotions, relationships, feedback at work, first impressions, even memory itself, and reached a conclusion blunt enough to become the title of the paper: Bad is stronger than good. Bad moods hit harder than good moods lift you. A harsh performance review sticks longer than years of solid ones. A single betrayal can outweigh a decade of trust. They found the pattern even in single words. Show people a list mixing positive and negative terms, and the negative ones get remembered more accurately and more vividly days later. Show someone 9 reasons to trust a person and 1 reason not to, and the 1 reason usually wins the argument, even when it's objectively the weakest piece of evidence in the room. Psychologist Gottman turned that imbalance into something you could actually measure. Watching thousands of hours of couples arguing, he found he could predict divorce with over 90% accuracy using one number: the ratio of positive to negative interactions during a conflict. Stable, happy couples weren't the ones who never fought. They were the ones who maintained roughly 5 positive interactions for every single negative one. He didn't need years of follow-up to make the prediction, either. Within the first few minutes of watching a couple discuss a disagreement, the ratio alone was often enough. Couples doing fine on every other measure, income, education, how long they'd been together, still split when that single number drifted low enough. 1 negative interaction didn't need an equal negative to cancel it out. It needed 5 positives just to break even. Picture the comment section. 99 replies say some version of "This was great, thank you for this, exactly what I needed to hear." You skim past them fast, barely absorbing the words. Then 1 comment says you're wrong, or worse, says something about you personally. You stop scrolling, you read it twice, you're still thinking about it at midnight, while the 99 kind ones have already evaporated from memory completely. Or picture the end of a long day. 9 things went right: a project finished early, a friend texted just to check in, the weather was good, dinner turned out well. 1 thing went wrong: a comment from a coworker that landed wrong. Ask yourself later which of those 10 moments you're replaying at 11 p.m. It's never the 9. Your ancestors' version of this had nothing to do with comments. Picture the forest. 99 sounds are safe: wind, leaves, birdsong, nothing that requires action. One sound is a twig snapping in a pattern that doesn't match the wind. Every safe sound gets ignored almost instantly. That one sound gets full attention, adrenaline, a spike in heart rate, before you've even consciously identified what it was. Missing a safe sound costs nothing. Missing the one unsafe sound can cost your life. So the brain that survived long enough to become your ancestor was never built to weigh those two possibilities equally, and neither was yours. Think about how an ordinary Tuesday actually feels. Nothing happens. No compliments, no criticism, just an unremarkable day, and somehow it still registers as fine, even good, by default. That's the positivity offset quietly doing its job, the same baseline lean that let your ancestors relax in a forest full of harmless sound instead of treating every rustling leaf like a threat. Now add one sharp, negative moment to that same ordinary Tuesday. Not a flood of bad news. Just one thing. And the whole day's rating flips, instantly and disproportionately. Because the switch from positivity offset to negativity bias doesn't wait for your permission, here's the part that reframes the whole problem. This isn't a flaw in the system. It's the system working exactly as designed, just aimed at a threat that no longer matches the stakes it evolved for, which means the algorithm running in your head was optimized for a world with saber-toothed tigers in it, not one with comment sections, performance reviews, and group chats. The stakes changed. The weighting never got the memo. It still treats a rude reply with the same seriousness it once reserved for a genuine predator, because as far as the circuitry is concerned, better safe than extinct. You are not overreacting to one bad comment, you are running a threat detection system so well calibrated for extinction-level stakes that it can't tell the difference between a predator and a stranger's opinion. None of this means you're broken, and it doesn't mean the fix is trying to feel the good and bad equally, because that fight is rigged from the start. You'd be arguing with math your brain runs automatically, underneath conscious control. That also explains why simply thinking positive rarely works as advice. It's asking you to override math, not mood. What actually moves the needle is volume, deliberately stacking enough real positive interactions that the scale tips back. The same way Gottman's stable couples did without ever consciously calculating a ratio. Not ignoring the bad. Just refusing to let one data point outvote the other 99. Rozin and Royzman found it in how you weigh information. Cacioppo and Berntson found it in your own heartbeat. Baumeister found it in your relationships, your job, your memory. Gottman found it in exactly how many good moments it takes to survive one bad one. For different labs, for different methods, decades apart and the same asymmetry showing up underneath all of it, the next time one comment outweighs 99, that's not proof something is wrong with you, it's proof the scale was rigged 5,000 centuries before the comments section existed. And now that you know the rate, you know exactly how much good it actually takes to balance it.